And you're waking up with Damo here on the 4WK. It is time for our History Out There segment as we take a look at all of the local history. And we do that, of course, with Harold Peacock. He's on the line. Good morning, mate.
Yes, good morning, Damo, and happy Olympics to you. I've got a good story today.
I know. This is about Toowoomba's first Olympian.
Yeah, that's right. There's been loads of Toowoomba success stories at the Olympics, and right now, of course, we're all cheering on Matthew Denny at the Paris Olympics. He was born in Toowoomba and grew up in Allara. Overnight, he powered into the men's discus final, and of course, we're all hoping he wins the final on Thursday. So
Yes.
I'll be listening to you to foot off your cave for the results, I reckon.
That's it. Exactly. Now, what about our first Olympian? I mean, that would take us back a few years.
Yeah, that's right. And look, like I said, there's been a whole... People have got favourites. The most recent Olympian got medalist was Christopher Burton. He won a silver medal at equestrian individual eventing just last week in Paris. And he added that to a bronze medal that he won in the teams event at the Olympics before last. But of course, Toowoomba's most famous Olympian is probably Glenys Nunn. She grew up in Toowoomba. She was born there, went to school there, and won the gold medal in the heptathlon in 1984 in Los Angeles. But looking back into history, well, I guess we all know Edwin Flack was Australia's first Olympian. He won gold medals and a bronze at the first modern Olympics in Athens in 1896. But he was Australia's first Olympian. What about Toowoomba's first Olympian? Well, that was Ernest Hutchin. He was Toowoomba's first Olympian and Australia's first Olympic field event competitor. Now, Hutchin was born in Toowoomba in 1889. At the London Olympics in 1908, he competed in the standing high jump. And so he was only 18 years old, which made him the youngest of the 23 competitors in the event. Now, come the First World War, Hutchin enlisted in the Australian Army and arrived in France late in the war, but missed all the fighting. Now, a month later, he got swollen glands under his neck, and so this war ended before it began. Now, he might have missed out on an Olympic medal, but at least he got a British War Medal for his efforts there. Now, Hutchin was also a first-class cricketer. He played 7 matches for Queensland. His highest score was 71 against New South Wales at the Sydney Cricket Ground in 1925, which in fact helped Queensland draw the match. Now, Hutchin's father, John, was a school teacher at Warwick and Toowoomba. Hutchin himself became a well-regarded barrister. One of his brothers, Jack, and Jack was born in Warwick.
Yes.
He was a barrister and a more successful cricketer for Queensland. In fact, in the 1920s, the brother was even chairman of the Australian Cricket Board. Now, meanwhile, our Ernest Hutchin, that's Toowoomba's first Olympian, he was just 47 years old when he died in Brisbane in 1937, and today he's buried in Brisbane's Toowong Cemetery. But Damo, I just want to quickly tell you about Queensland's first Olympian, because that's a bit of a story as well. His name was Frank Gailey. He was born in Brisbane in 1882. He swam in the 1904 Olympics at St. Louis, Missouri, and finished with 3 silver medals and 1 bronze. But at the Olympics, Gailey was sponsored by the Olympic Club of San Francisco. And so the Americans claimed his medals. Now, Gailey, he later became a naturalised citizen 2 years after the Olympics, but his 3 silver and 1 bronze are most definitely Queensland medals. Now, his father, Richard Gailey, of course, he stayed in Queensland his whole life and became the doyen of Queensland architects. He designed major buildings across the state. So he surveyed and laid out the entire town of Bowen and played a leading part in many major buildings all over the Darling Downs. So, Damo, when Matthew Denny throws for goal on Thursday, remember Toowoomba's first Olympian, Ernest Hutchin, in 1908, whose only international medal was a British War Medal, but also Queensland's first Olympian, Frank Gailey, whose father built buildings all around us in the Darling Downs, and in 1904, his medals were stolen by the Americans. So, Frank Gailey's medals, far lap, you can blame the Americans for so much, can't you?
You certainly can. And you were talking about Glenys Nunn, and of course it was yesterday, the anniversary there, where she became the first Australian in 16 years to win a track and field gold medal at the Olympic Games in LA, and that happened in 1984.
Yeah, and who doesn't forget where they were watching it? In fact, she was the first to to win that particular event because it was the first time it was run at the Olympics. And how close was it? It was down to the final event. The points were so close throughout. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
How Glennis.
And of course, she began competing in athletics at the age of 9 when she was a student at Toowoomba South State School.
Yes, and you talk to every second person in Toowoomba and they all played against her, ran against her, taught her, teach the coach her. Everyone's got a link to Glennis.
Yes, exactly. My link, I watched her run. But anyway, mates, this story is no doubt going to appear on your website.
Yes, go online to historyouthere.com.
All right, mate, appreciate it. Thank you for bringing that little touch of local Olympics history to our airwaves this morning. We always appreciate it, and we look forward to catching up again next week.
Thank you. See you then, Damo.
There we go. The one and only Harold Peacock, and you can read all of that story and more on historyouthere.com. We'll take a break. Back with more in a moment.